Alright guys, so here's the second half in that video. We are down here where it says solve the equation using grouping. Alright, so we've done that before. That's where we do a 2 and a 2 group. Okay, now when I do so, we need to factor out the x squared from the first group. So x squared times x minus 4. And then take out the negative 2 times x minus 4. And that's going to equal 0. We can group the x squared minus 2 together, and the one that's common, we just need to write one time. K equals 0. Now from here, if you could factor this more, you should, but you can't. So what we need to do is just set that part equal to 0, and x minus 4 equal to 0. Alright, now we'll add over 2, so x squared is going to equal 2. And then we'll square root each side. X equals plus or minus radical 2. And that counts, remember, as two answers. Positive radical 2 and negative radical 2. Add 4 over to the other side, and x is going to equal 4. And there again, there are your three answers. Alright, so if grouping works, we should always try grouping. Now, for the second question here, grouping does not work. In fact, it doesn't even want us to factor and solve it. It just says list the possible rational zeros. Okay, so when it asks for that, that's just your b's divided by c's. So what we need to do is find the factors of the back number, which is plus or minus, so we're looking at this 10. 1, 2, 5, and 10 all go in as b's. C's are all the factors of the front number, plus or minus 1, 2, and 4. So now b is divided by c's, and this is our list. If I divide all of these by 1, I'll get the same thing. Again, divide them all by 1, and I'm going to have 1, 2, 5, and 10. Divide them by 1. Now let's divide by 2. 1 divided by 2 is a half. 2 divided by 2 is 1. You already have it. 5 divided by 2 is 5 halves. We don't have that. We need it. And 10 divided by 2, that's 5. We already have it. Now divide them all by 4. So 1 divided by 4, that's 1/4. 2 divided by 4, that's a half, but we already have it. 5 divided by 4, we don't have that, 5/4. And 10 divided by 4, that reduces to 5 over 2, which we already have. So there is our list of possible rational zeros. We just wanted a list. And we found that. All right, let's work on the third one here. This is next to the fourth. Going to be a lot of work for something like that. So first thing you want to do is find your b's, all the factors of this back number. So 16, what are all the factors of that? 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. C's are all the factors of the front number, plus or minus 1 and 2. So what we need to do now is b is divided by c's. b is divided by c's here are going to be, if I divide by 1, the same list, 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. Because again, if I divide 1 by 1, I get 1. 2 divided by 1, 4, 8, 16, all divided by 1 gives me the same thing. But now dividing by 2, 1 divided by 2 is a half. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. These are ones I already have. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And 16 divided by 2 is 8. So there is my list of possible rational zeros. Remember, these are my guesses. So I want to guess those. All right. Now, I am going to tell you to most of the time try to avoid guessing the larger numbers and guess fractions last. Okay, now I know which ones work here, so I'm going to kind of, to shorten the video, go to the ones that do. The first one that I'll do, though, doesn't work. So let's try, for example, -2. Does -2 work? So we put -2 in the box, and then we have 2, -3, 33, -48, and 16. We'll bring down our 2. So negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. That adds to be negative 7. Negative 2 times negative 7 is positive 14. That adds to be 47. Negative 2 times 47, I'm already seeing what this is probably not going to work. Negative 94. I'm not even sure what that is, but I can see by doing negative 2 times that huge number, it's not going to be 16. Okay, we wanted negative 16 to make a remainder of 0. That is not going to work. So we didn't get that. So let's try what does work. I know that 1 works, so let's try that now. Okay, so that did not work. So for 1, we're going to have 2, negative 3, 33, negative 48, and 16. We'll bring down our 2. 1 times 2 is 2, adds to be negative 1. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1, adds to be 32. 1 times 32 is 32, and that's negative 16. 1 times negative 16 is negative 16, and gives me a remainder of 0. Okay, remember, that's what you're looking for. Now, one of the big things is, do you understand what comes out of that? Okay, this 1 actually comes from x minus 1. Okay, that's one of my factors. Now my other factor is 2x cubed minus x squared plus 32x minus 16. That's coming from right here. Now because you still have another x cube, oh no, we have to do this b's and c's thing again. But the good news is the b's and the c's are the same numbers. Look at the back number 16, we already got it. And the c's are the same as well. Again, I know what works, so I'm going to go to what does work right away. 1/2 in the box, and we're going to use again 2, negative 1, 32, negative 16. So our new cubic, we've got a factor here. And again, I know that 1/2 works. Bring down the 2. Half of 2 is 1, that gives us 0. Half of 0 is 0, gives us 32. Half of 32 is 16, and as I told you, the remainder would be 0. Okay, now what that tells you is this. I'm going to spill over into this other question, so I'll have to do it on the back. It tells us that my first factor, x minus 1, that I had from over here, my second factor is x minus 1/2. Okay, because 1/2 went in the box, x minus 1/2, times 2x squared plus 32 equals 0. Now again, for solving, we'll try to factor this further, but we can't. So we'll have to set each part equal to 0. That's going to give us x equals 1 as an answer. This is going to give us x equals 1/2 as an answer. And now for this answer here, we got to set it equal to 0. So 2x squared plus 32 equals 0. I subtract over 32, so 2x squared equals negative 32. Divide each side by 2. X squared equals negative 16. And then you're going to square root each side. X is going to equal plus or minus. Remember, anytime you solve these, you get a plus or minus 4i. And there is your final answer, plus or minus 4i. So you actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 answers. 2 of them are imaginary, and that gets us the answer we're looking for. Okay? One more problem here. This is the last one. I'm going to do it on the back here. I spilled over into that other one. So let me copy it here. It's going to be 4x to the fourth plus x times x squared plus 10 equals 4x to the fourth plus 10x minus 27. Okay, so we are going to start by distributing, because we've got to clean all this up. We've got to make it equal 0. So you have 4x to the fourth plus x cubed plus 10x, just distributing the x there, equals 4x to the fourth plus 10x minus 27. Okay, now again, we want this to equal 0, so I'm going to move this stuff over here. I'm going to subtract over my 4x to the fourth. Okay, that'll take care of that. I'm going to subtract over my 10x. That'll take care of that. And I'll add over my 27. I'll just have to add it there. Just see what I've got. All right, so the x to the fourths are going to be gone. We're going to have an x cubed. The x's are going to drop out. 10x minus 10x is nothing. Plus 27 is going to equal 0. So we're going to factor with the cube pattern. These are both cubes. Okay, so my a is going to be x. My b is going to be 3. My pattern is ab times a squared, ab, b squared. That's your pattern for cubes. Same sign, opposite sign, always positive. So the proper factoring here is going to be x plus 3 times a is x, so x squared, minus a times b, 3x, b squared plus 9. Okay, there's going to be our factoring equals 0. Now we know out of this one we get x equals negative 3, no more work there. And we know the back is unfactorable, so you have to do quadratic formula. Your a is going to be 1, your b is going to be negative 3, your c is going to be 9. We're going to put it into x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so x equals negative 3 plus or minus the square root of negative 3 squared minus 4 times a is 1 and c is 9, all divided by 2 times a. 2 times a is 1. So we're going to have 3 plus or minus the square root. Negative turns into positive 3. The square root of 9, negative 3 squared is 9, minus 36, negative 4 times 1 times 9, all over 2. Got to keep going on the simplifying. We're going to have 3 plus or minus the square root of negative 27 divided by 2. And you can break up the square root of negative 27 into the square root of negative 1, the square root of 9, and the square root of 3. So that means that we're going to have 3 plus or minus, this is going to give me 3i square root of 3 divided by 2. Okay? All right, so that gives us our 3 answers. We got it. Now what you guys are going to do is your work, now that you've finished the videos, is you're going to work on the next page. Whoops, there it is there. These questions, and you may want to come to tutoring tomorrow to get a little bit of help. So I'll be offering tutoring tomorrow, but this is the homework assignment that goes along with this. Okay? Or I say tomorrow, but Monday. Monday is when the tutoring will be, depending upon when you're watching this. All right, everybody have a great day, and I will see you next time.